100% agree. I don't know what is going on, but Martinez got hit like 7 or 8 times today because of Benhart, because he can't block one-on-one. I don't get it at this point. I know they lost Teddy to injury, but maybe there is nobody else. I don't know.
I don't. It was him. I know that number 70, Sichterman, whiffed on a couple of them that got Martinez blasted. We had a really bad false start there at the end on the offensive line. So I don't know.
That was on Mooney. Yep.
Yeah, I don't know about the offensive line, and I don't know. Maybe if you see a coaching change there at the end of the year too. I'm not sure.
Yeah, this comment is extremely interesting. I don't agree with the last part that this defense will be laughable next year. I think they're improving because Shenander is a good defensive coordinator. And if you look at some of the guys, if we were to look ahead to what they have coming back next year, the linebackers have improved tremendously. They're back. You've got a bunch of guys mixing in on the D-line like Ty Robinson, like DeAndre Thomas, that are going to be guys that are ready to go. Maybe Caleb Tanner, Garrett Nelson, I think they should be back as well. And, yeah, you're going to lose some in the secondary. Braxton Clark has played good in times that he's been on the field this year. Quentin Newsome is going to continue to improve. At least you'd hope so. He's kind of been hit or miss this year. But you got to think that this team, a lot of the COVID stuff right now, a lot of teams are going to lose guys after this year. It's going to happen. A lot of guys stayed for an extra year. They're going to be gone. So it's going to happen to a lot of programs. But I don't think that this defense is going to fall apart. I don't think this is the 1 year they're going to be good. I think they have a lot returning and a lot that's improved.
Yeah, I think that especially the linebackers, and I think they'll be all right next year for sure. But I think definitely going into this year, I thought that one of the reasons, before we even played our first game of the season, I thought one of the reasons to be really hopeful about getting 6 or 7 wins this year, I mean, that's not going to happen now, but one of the reasons to be hopeful was the defense. Because we have those young guys that are playing well, but also because you have, like Doman and you have Cam Taylor and Williams and yeah, obviously having those guys that, possibly could be on an NFL roster right now playing for the team, that obviously helps out a lot. But you have to think that a lot of teams are kind of in the same boat right now and will lose guys next year also. But I still think the defense will be good enough next year to win games that they should have won this year. It's just going to be who's the quarterback and how do they score points on offense.
Yeah, and I see people that keep commenting stuff about the defense, that it's not really that good this year. Like, I don't know if you're like spoiled into watching other like Georgia's defense or something, but like this defense in this day and age in football that is all offensive, it's been legit this year. Minus the Illinois game, it was not good in that game, but the other games this year, it has been legit time in, time out. Michigan, I know there was a couple things that got them in the Michigan game. I didn't watch the game live. I rewatched some of it, but overall, this is a really, really good defense in college football. I don't care if you go look at yards per game on these stats. Watch the game, and if you know football, you will know that this defense is a top 30 defense in college football. Go watch any of these other teams. Go watch Missouri or something like that, and then you can see what a bad defense is, because this defense is good, and they've shown it throughout the year, and I think that they have a bunch of guys that are going to be returning, and it's going to be just fine. But like you said, where is the offense going to go? What is next for the rest of this year? What is next for next year? And as far as you've got to find your guys, because time is running out. It's not running out on Scott Frost. Like I said, I'm with you. I think he's going to be back next year. But there's a lot of pressure right now, and it's time for him to produce and perform. And these guys got to be ready. And today, for them not to be ready is extremely disappointing.
Yeah. Yeah, the defense has been stout, dude. Especially the D line. Those guys are, for the most part, and they had that big run they gave up at the end today, but they've been solid. I mean, I feel like I've said it so many times in the past few years, is the defense played well enough to win the game. If this defense, if they have a different type of offense and they're scoring points, they play well enough to win the game. I mean, you think about the Michigan State game. The second half, Michigan State ran 14 plays for 15 yards. I mean, dude, their running back, that number 9, we held him to like 50 yards rushing. The next week, he ran for like a school record 272. So I mean, the defense is doing something right. Um, it's you know, it's just I don't know. It's really
No, I
frustrating.
mean,
Just go
you
ahead.
watch, what Frost wants to do on offense, and I think they want this pistol. He mentioned it before the year, and you're starting to see what he wants to do. They want this downhill running. They want a downhill run. They want to use a little bit of clock, more than they have been because they haven't been using any, and they want to just continue to move the chains and work down the field, and then execute in the red zone. That's the biggest thing that he wants to do. He mentioned it before the season. They're not using a lot of clock. They don't have a downhill running game that's successful right now. Whatever is going on in the running back room, like I said, I think Ramir's been outstanding. He came into the year as the fifth string running back. He's done everything and more you can ask from him. But the rest of the guys, I know Gabe Irvin gets hurt early, but you've been recruiting these guys for years, and you finally got these are your guys now. So what is going on? Are you not recruiting any running backs? Because right now you see, other than your fifth string preseason running back, you've got like Sevion Morrison dropping a pass out of the backfield, not doing anything. You've got Yan, who's too young and he's just confused out there. You got Stepp, who just never did anything. Maybe he's in the doghouse. Maybe he just hasn't performed. But there's just so much that's not good with the running back room that I don't understand why you're not recruiting. That should be the main thing that you're recruiting right now is you need to be getting these running backs, because if you want a downhill running game, go watch Texas. Texas is disappointing. They have 3 losses this year. They fail. They blow every game in the second half. We've all seen it. But what can they establish every game that Scott Frost wants to? They run the ball, and they're able to do that. And I think if Nebraska is able to run the ball, you're going to see the offense look better. I mean, Texas wishes they had a defense like Nebraska because they'd be in a whole different position right now.
Yeah, I think a lot of the teams. I think a lot of teams, if they had a defense like Nebraska, would be in a lot better position. But yeah, I mean, the run game is just. It's just really abysmal, especially between the tackles. I mean, there's just nothing there, and you see them try to do it, and it's on first down, it's on second down, and they're not getting anything. There's just nothing, and so many times sustaining a drive is really based on getting yardage on those early downs, right? And even if you pick up a third and long, you know, if you're not establishing 4 or 5 yards on some of these runs, then I mean it's really hard to sustain drives and especially do anything in the red zone, which we see so many times Nebraska get down there past the 50 and then just not be able to do anything because they really don't have an interior run. And I mean, also credit to Minnesota today. And I mean, I think PJ Fleck's super annoying. I don't really like him, but he's a great coach. And he coached a great game today, outcoached Frost, in my opinion. And their game plan on defense was great. It was they weren't going to let us run the ball. They were going to give up those chunk plays, and they were not going to let Martinez do anything in the option game. And we had a couple of them, but it really seemed like they took the option away. They took Martinez, made him throw the ball, and that didn't work out too well here and there. So, hats off to them and being able to, I feel like outcoach us today.
Yeah, and you're talking about the importance of staying ahead of the chains, and you don't really realize it, but like looking at a team like Nebraska, we already know Martinez's flaws. He's not very good at processing in the passing game. So when you have a guy like that and you're set up in 3rd and 8, you're just playing into the defense's hands because they know he's not good at processing. They can run whatever kind of screwed up stunts on the front line. They can run any type of coverage they want in the back end to confuse him because he's not already good at processing. So what do you need to be successful for this offense? You need 3rd and 3s where you can go, you have to contain the running back run, the quarterback run, and the short pass. And not to mention, if you want to get all of that and somehow have it all, you might be left on an island on a deep ball on 3rd and 3. That is why it's so important for them to stay ahead of the chains. When I kept seeing 3rd and 8 today, I already knew it was going to be trouble because that's Martinez's kryptonite. It has been for years now in Nebraska. It's 3rd and long because he's not that good of a passer. But you play to his strengths. You let him be in those third and shorts, man, and you're just setting up this defense where they, third and 3, maybe they have to bring a blitz, and then it's setting up quick passes for him to gain confidence. But if you can't do that, the offense is not going to be successful the rest of the year if they're set up in those third and longs, especially with the defenses they have to face.
Yeah, it sometimes too. I don't know if it's Martinez just not making the right read, or if he's just locked on one guy. But I don't feel like, especially today, I didn't feel like we attempted very many just short, quick passes or intermediate throws. We did complete some good downfield passes, but I mean, you see Minnesota, it's a quick 5 yard out, or it's a 10 yard curl, and the guy has 5 yards of separation. It's just an easy throw, right? I don't know why sometimes we're not maybe just letting Toure run a really nice route, which he's capable of, or letting Omar Manning use his body size to come across the middle and just a nice little 5 yard slant. Just get the yardage and push those defenders back a little bit. Maybe that opens up the run. I feel like just so much today it was forcing the run, and then it was just, oh, we're in trouble, so now we're gonna have to throw it downfield. And
Yeah.
sometimes it worked out, and sometimes it didn't.
Yeah, and the O-line has to get better. I see a bunch of comments about the O-line. Yeah, it's not good, okay? But it has been improving slightly over the last couple weeks in terms of getting a little bit more of a push in the run game. But right now, Nebraska doesn't have the personnel to run the ball successfully. So I think there's a little bit there. The offensive line still needs to improve. But, I watched the Michigan game. I tried to find an end zone cam. I was working on it because I didn't get to watch it live, and I kind of wanted to see some of the processing things that Martinez was going to. And I think he does get stuck on one guy sometimes. And, the biggest thing quarterback coaches throughout the country will tell you is that you have to throw people open, not throw to open receivers. Because when you're playing this high of a level, you don't just have open receivers. If you do, you can't miss. That's an easy gain. Anybody can do that. You see him on TV and you're like, I could have made that pass. Yeah, those are the ones where he is open. But as far as throwing to open up receivers, you need to find that 15-yard dig route and see that guy that's sitting underneath and be like, I'm going to throw this ball because he's not going to be in that spot and it won't be picked. I saw it today with Toure running that flag route on the outside. He was there. Martinez got scared of the underneath coverage, sailed it, incomplete. That is one that you have to trust your receiver. Throw him open and say, I'm going to bullet this in there because that linebacker's no way he's going to be good enough to make that play. And if there's one thing Tanner Morgan does, I am not a fan of Tanner Morgan. I don't think he's a very good quarterback. But if there's one thing he does in that RPO game is when he pulls the ball out to throw it, he knows where he's going and he delivers it, and he trusts his ability and the inability of the linebackers to be quick enough to get their hands up and stop that pass. But he's throwing receivers open. That's why Minnesota was successful in the pass game today. But Nebraska made adjustments on that. And then you saw why Nebraska's defense was much better. But Nebraska's offense didn't make any adjustments.